This is News 8 Now, this morning.
And we had to reach out to a neighboring community and haul water from their hydrants. That was the closest ones, and that's still 10 miles or something away.
If you know someone that is disabled and can't get out there or needs to travel through where you're at, help them out.
It's just important to know and have that designation and that recognition on the north side. They deserve it. And that little commercial node deserves having that recognition and that national recognition of being a historic district.
And that was your eye-opener. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for watching News 8 Now this morning. I'm Ken Kozarowski. That's Derek Sibley, and it is Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. Derek, a calm start to this morning. There is snow on the ground out there, but all that we're dealing with right now is just a lot of cold going on.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of cold weather, and unfortunately, Ken, we are not done with it. There is plenty more to come, and there's also plenty more snow to come here as well. Live look from City Cam 8. Everything is nice and calm. Most of that snow, in fact, all the snow really is gone, but watch out for some snowy roadways that you may see here in downtown La Crosse. Temperatures are currently into a combination of both the single digits and into the teens. It's 7 right now in Eau Claire, and we got 9 degrees currently the temperature in La Crosse. We had a bunch of snow move through starting yesterday evening, and also it continued to track its way east through the overnight hours. And everything's gone now. We're just looking at a few clouds here lingering across much of the area. As we take a look at your planner for the rest of the day, we'll be looking at a combination of a mixed clouds and sunshine here, with temperatures pretty much just dropping and remaining well into the single digits all day long today, with a light west-northwest wind around 5 to 10. But overall, the main story today, Ken, is that it's just going to be very cold. And we're also tracking a winter storm system that is expected to impact our weather starting tomorrow night. And we'll get to those details in just a bit.
All right. Thanks very much, Derek. Let's get to some news on this Tuesday morning. The House Select Committee investigating the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol has voted to recommend the Department of Justice charge former President Donald Trump. The bipartisan group of lawmakers recommended 4 charges: obstruction of an official proceeding, conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to make a false statement, and incite, assist, or aid or comfort in insurrection. A new interview with Trump advisor Hope Hicks showed the former president resisted efforts to call off the mob. The former president called the committee a kangaroo court and again falsely claimed the election was stolen. A suspected gunman is dead and 2 people left injured following a shooting in Kenosha late Monday night. Authorities were called to an active shooter situation just after 9 p.m. Officers say they returned fire after being met with gunfire on arrival. 2 people were taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds. 1 is in critical condition. 1 is listed in serious condition. Police have not determined a motive for the shooting at this time. Out of rural Vernon County overnight, an Amish home was destroyed by a fire. An Amish elder asked us not to shoot video of the fire, but in this video of firefighters working, you can see the heavy smoke that descended. The fire chief says winter weather caused several problems. It took longer than normal to reach the home on Runge Lane because of slick roads. Once they arrived, 3 trucks got stuck and couldn't get close enough to the house, which was then fully covered with fire.
And we had to reach out to a neighboring community and haul water from their hydrants. That was the closest ones, and that's still 10 miles or something away.
Now, no one was injured, but the home did burn to the ground. The chief believes the fire was started by a kerosene lamp. He's reminding everyone that candles, wood stoves, and overloaded electrical outlets are responsible for many house fires, especially this time of year. 1 week after a water main break on La Crosse's south side, the same block of State Street flooded again and froze into thick ice. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen spoke with a man who lives on State Street who says this safety hazard could have been prevented.
It flooded at the end of our street here, and it flooded homes that were down that way and over to Main Street.
The city called the December 10th water main break historic.
We are trying to work as swiftly as possible to get this repaired.
But it wasn't the last of the State Street flooding. On Saturday morning, Mark Anderson and his wife woke up to what they call a pool of water in their road on State Street. Today, it's slush.
It was a small leak, but he said it's going to send a lot of water down the street. And I said, well, okay, well, it's coming down here. And on Saturday, it was just flooding. It wasn't this icy because it wasn't that cold yet.
Anderson says a city employee came to open the storm drain, but it was plugged. Anderson says the staffer told him that no one else from the city would be able to help until Monday.
This is a major thing to me. To him it might not be major, but for us living along in here, it is.
And then the temperature dropped and the water froze. Anderson couldn't drive over the ice.
If you look at the driveway here, I've got that much ice in my drive because the cars have been splashing it up.
On Monday, City of La Crosse trucks worked to repair the break and remove the frozen pond from the end of Anderson's driveway.
Finally, maybe we're going to get some resolve. We're seniors and we just can't be out here chopping, and it's too much of a burden.
A burden Anderson believes could have been prevented.
I don't know why they couldn't have come out with their big truck and flushed out that drain, which would have alleviated all the water back before it was frozen.
News 8 Now asked the City of La Crosse to explain why it waited to clear the water from State Street. Like Anderson, we're also waiting. A city spokeswoman said she would get back to us tomorrow. In La Crosse, Emily Haugen, News 8 Now.
Thank you, Emily. And the Board of Public Works approved an emergency declaration to allow the Engineering and Public Works Department to get quotes to repair the first water main break back on December 10th. The board didn't mention Saturday's break. Shoveling your driveway and clearing the sidewalk isn't everyone's favorite winter activity, but for others, their safety depends on it. News 8 Now's Dua Israr spoke to a La Crosse man making a plea to his community.
A helping hand can go a long way.
I don't want people to fall when they stop for the bus, you know. They get on and off all the time, so.
Turi Schaub has lived in La Crosse for more than 70 years.
I do all my shoveling myself, and I'm 93 years old.
Schaub's kindness helps people get around town. People like Jason Mickelson.
People have actually had to stop and help me get unstuck before.
When sidewalks and curbs aren't clear, Mickelson has to find another way to get around.
My chair can't get through it. I can try, but then I run the risk of getting stuck.
That's why Mickelson and La Crosse's Committee for Citizens with Disabilities has a request for everyone this winter.
If you know someone that is disabled and can't get out there or needs to travel through where you're at, help them out.
Part of the solution is shoveling your sidewalk.
City officials say if your sidewalk isn't shoveled down to the concrete, it can make it difficult for people with disabilities to get around. So if your sidewalk looks like this, you may receive a hefty citation from the city.
We have people that rely on our public infrastructure for sidewalks to be able to get around.
Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator Cullen Haldeman says the first citation will cost people more than $180.
Especially somebody like Jason could file a complaint, and then that person would then have 24-hour cement inspection time, and before the contractor would come out and clear it for them.
Haldeman says the city is also working on creating a volunteer program. People can sign up and be connected with someone who needs help.
Where they are and how close they are to a certain resident that might need help, and getting them the contact information that they need to have.
Mickelson says spreading awareness about this winter hazard,
I think we're starting to make steps in the right direction,
will help Mickelson's wheels keep rolling all winter long. Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Israr, News 8 Now.
Thanks very much, Dua. Sticking in La Crosse, Caledonia Street is finally a historic district. Between the 1880s and 1960s, Caledonia Street was called Old Town North. It was a commercial hub for the city's north side and home to the Riviera Theater. City planning officials say historic designations bring in more patrons for businesses, and downtown La Crosse is a great example. The man who helped Caledonia Street get its new official title says it's time for Old Town North to get the recognition it deserves.
It's just important to know and have that designation and that recognition on the north side. They deserve it. It needs, and that little commercial node deserves having that recognition and that national recognition of being a historic district.
Ackland says this process has been years in the making. Monday night, on the second night of Hanukkah, Jewish leaders lit another candle on a 10-foot menorah in La Crosse's Cameron Park. The Chabad Jewish Center of northeastern Iowa, along with the congregation Sons of Abraham La Crosse, held the ceremony. After the candle was lit, everyone was welcome to dance and enjoy some traditional Hanukkah food. This menorah is one of several large public menorahs in Wisconsin. The menorah candles will be lit every day until Sunday, December 25th. Two families will have a Merry Christmas thanks to some Holman community members. This is the first year the Holman Community Center and Rotary Club set up a giving tree in their lobby. Visitors took tags off the tree and fulfilled the Christmas wishes. Rotary Club members helped wrap all the gifts, and organizers say the drive was popular.
It was really well received by the community. People came in multiple times. They'd get a tag, get the present, get another tag. Or we've had people say too, if you have tags left at the end, please let me know and I can financially contribute to this.
Members of the community even donated 3 children's bikes. All these gifts are going to families in La Crosse County. Time is now 6:10 a.m. Still ahead on your morning news, are you last-minute Christmas shopping? Well, we have got the worst gifts you should avoid for that special person in your life. And the heads up experts want you to know if you plan to get a pet for Christmas. That's all coming up after the break. For now, let's send you to break with something to put the good in your morning. Looking for a perfect holiday gift? How about a giant Fruit Loop? This 930-calorie cereal piece weighs almost half a pound and is big enough to fill an entire cereal box. It's the latest playful art piece from artist collective Mischief and is said to taste exactly like a Fruit Loop. Mischief says they are only releasing a limited amount and they expect the gag gift to sell out pretty darn quickly. Don't go anywhere. More News 8 Now this morning is coming up after the break.
Well, it looks like most of the snow here has finally cleared the area. A lot of it came in during the evening and overnight, and the last bit of it kind of moved through around the 4 to 5 o'clock hour across the eastern zones of Adam and Juneau County. Current temperatures across the area mainly into the teens and single digits at 7 degrees now in Eau Claire. Bundle up in La Crosse as well. You're currently at 9. Meanwhile, Sparta, you're looking at a temperature of around 12 degrees. Let's get a check now on your zone forecast here today in La Crosse County. Temperatures here today mainly into the teens under partly cloudy weather conditions. And as we head south here, we'll be about 17 in Viroqua and 15 today in Starve with just a few clouds here around. Meanwhile, to the north in the central zones, we are looking at a combination of a mix of sun and clouds with temperatures between around 10 to 13 and highs reaching only into the single digits around 8 to 9 degrees for most of our north zones here today. So stay warm here at the bus stop this morning because temperatures will be at 10 and then we'll be at 7. Partly cloudy here for the lunch hour. Mostly clear skies this afternoon though with temperatures at around 9 degrees. We'll have a look at the full weather forecast next in weather.
Well, some good news for people hitting the road for the holiday season. Gas prices keep falling. The national average for a gallon of regular is now $3.14, according to AAA. That's down 54 cents from last month and a low not seen since July of 2021. Experts say the national average could once again dip below $3 a gallon by Christmas Eve. With less than a week to buy those last-minute Christmas presents, the parent company of e-commerce giant Wish is revealing some of the worst holiday gift items. According to a survey of more than 6,000 people in the U.S. and Europe, defective items bought at a discount were least popular, makes sense, followed closely by fruitcake, definitely, and weight loss items. 80% of Americans are believed to show fake excitement when opening those bad presents. The maker of the hit video game Fortnite will pay more than $500 million over allegations that it misled millions of its players. The FTC fined Epic Games $275 million for violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. Epic is being accused of gathering personal information of minors without the verifiable consent of their parents. Epic also agreed to refund $245 million to players who were misled into making unintended purchases due to the app's user interface design. Lab-grown meat could be closer to your dinner plate than you expect. A recent sampling of a product from Ivy Farm Technologies revealed what cultivated meat tastes like. The meatballs were described as savory and full of flavor, but were just a tad smaller than your average meatball. Last month, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration said for the first time that a lab-grown meat product is safe to eat. The Better Business Bureau and animal rescue groups are warning of scammers trying to take advantage of people looking to give pets as holiday gifts. Jen Sullivan explains 5 things to consider if a furry new companion is on your wish list.
Think twice before you buy a pet for your loved one this holiday season. The Better Business Bureau and animal rescue groups are issuing warnings about pet scams. And according to the BBB, financial losses from pet scams are expected to approach $2 million this year.
Unscrupulous breeders have gotten pretty good at trying to dupe the public into thinking that they're adopting an animal when they're in actuality buying from a puppy mill.
Holly Sizemore from Best Friends Animal Society has these 5 things to consider before purchasing a new furry addition to your family. 1. Avoid online fraud. Many listings could be fake, and you could be paying for a pet that doesn't exist. So meet your new pet in person before exchanging any money. 2. Know the years-long commitment, both with time and the cost of owning a pet.
Basic costs such as food, toys, enrichment, those are all important necessities for pets. Pets can be affordable, but it is a cost that you need to anticipate and budget.
3. Get the animal's health checked. Sizemore says dogs sold online often come from puppy mills and suffer from health issues due to poor living conditions and inbreeding. 4. Make the sustainable choice. Consider saving a life by adopting from a local shelter or rescue group. And finally, consider giving the experience of picking out a pet instead of picking it out yourself.
That is a great way to bring the joy of a new pet into the house during the holidays and allow the pet parent to choose the pet that best meets their lifestyle.
Off to a quiet start this morning with temperatures at around 11 degrees here downtown, but at the airport we are currently looking at 9 degrees here this morning. Partly cloudy skies, visibility looking good at 10 miles. Current conditions to the north in Eau Claire, 7 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Look at the feel-like temperature of -8. That's because we're looking at winds here coming out of the west at around 11 miles an hour. Current conditions across the rest of the area, 11 degrees currently in Black River Falls. We're looking at 16 now in Volkfield and 10 degrees right now the temperature in Viroqua, with our satellite and radar picture showing that most of the snow came through overnight. Now we're just left over with a few clouds here across the Coulee region associated with this low pressure system that did bring us a cold front. Out ahead of it, we did see some snow showers now positioned off to the east of us. We're looking at some much colder air, though, filtering in behind that system from Canada that is going to drop these temperatures well into the single digits throughout the day. But at least we'll see some sunshine here throughout much of the day today as well. 16 will be the high today in Sparta and 11 today in Winona. So getting back to that system, it's going to continue to move towards the east, and we'll say goodbye to it, but you can see that cold air continues to move in. We'll be looking at some dry conditions throughout the day and also into tonight. But we are tracking our next very strong storm system that is expected to move in. You see it's spreading a lot of snowy weather here across much of the Coulee region starting tomorrow evening and then continue through at least early Thursday, where we still could be dealing with some snow showers associated with that system. But then it looks like a lot of the models here are kind of coming together for Thursday afternoon, meaning that it looks like most of it should be gone by that point, and we'll be left over with mainly cold conditions and very chilly weather conditions as the wind speeds are expected to pick up behind it. Notice all the winter weather alerts that we have in effect for this system across the upper Midwest, including portions of the western plains, and we're also dealing with that here across the Coulee region in the form of a winter storm watch. And this is in effect here tomorrow night into Friday for blowing snow, gusty winds. That's going to cause some travel impacts here for you as well. And keep in mind, too, that we're expecting this Arctic air mass to continue to filter in, especially behind that storm system once it moves through. And as a matter of fact, our temperatures are expected to remain into the single digits and teens through at least Sunday and may even continue into Monday before we get into the 20s by Tuesday and then well into the 30s as we head towards mid-next week on Wednesday. Here's a check on the 8-day forecast. A couple of alert days that we're going to be monitoring here starting tomorrow and also into Thursday especially. So keep it here to News 8. We'll keep you updated on that as it continues to develop. And then by the time we reach Friday and the weekend, well, that's probably when it's going to get very chilly. Those wind gusts are going to really pick up, making things pretty dangerous as far as those wind chills. Stay with us, though. Much more news and weather still to come here on News 8 Now this morning. But for now, we are taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for December 20th. We'll be right back. Well, we had a bunch of snow that moved through yesterday evening and overnight, but a lot of it here, in fact, all of it really has come to a close, and a few clouds just linger in the wake of that system. With current temperature readings well into the single digits and teens, definitely going to have to bundle up out there this morning, especially if you're walking outside with your furry friend. Looking at some mostly clear conditions, at least, though, to deal with this morning, and a few clouds perhaps for the afternoon, but overall things are looking good here as we head into the evening hours here as well, with just a few clouds there overhead. But stay tuned. We'll have a check on your commute forecast coming up a little bit later in weather.
Welcome to the Blitz. Week 15 of the NFL season wrapping up last night at Lambeau. Just 4 games left for the Packers, including last night. Every game crucial if this team wants to make the postseason. Let's head out to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Packers hosting the Rams. Pick it up second quarter, game tied at 3. Not anymore. A.J. Dillon up the middle, rumbling and bumbling his way in for 6. 8-yard score makes it 10-3 Pack. Third quarter now, it's 10-6 Green Bay, but it's Dillon again, this time from a yard out. Punches it in again, his second touchdown of the game. Packers go ahead 17-6. Later in the third, same score, Pack on the move. Aaron Rodgers, the fake, quick pass to Aaron Jones, who joins the party. He gets in from 7 yards out. Packers are not done yet. They get the win 24-12 as they improve to 6-8 on the year. Next up for Green Bay, a Christmas Day matchup in Miami. Non-conference clash last night at Sparta High School. Spartans playing host to Luther. Knights had it going early on from downtown. Sam Horman knocks down the 3. Luther goes up 7. Spartans answer back with a 3-ball of their own thanks to Tyler Schendel from the top of the key. Sparta cuts it back to 4. Other end, Cody Miller gets blocked, gets it back, kicks it out to Sinclair Bias. The sophomore splashes home the 3. Lead back to 7. Sparta not going away. Nice curl here from Grant Geyer. He's going to lay it up and in. Spartans only down 6, but then off the steal, nice outlet pass here. It's right on the money to Horman. He's going to go up strong for the deuce. Knights extend their lead to 10. Sparta trying to get it back to single digits. This will get it done. Great pass to Leighton Bender for the score. It's back to 8. But then it's the Knights' Logan Barr heating up. The junior controlling the paint, puts it in. And then it's Barr showing off the range, knocking down the triple. All Knights last night on the road. They get the win over Sparta, 93-68. Another cross-conference matchup as Toma travels to GET. First half, the Redhawks. Kyle Sealing gets the steal. He pushes it ahead to Cody Schmitz, the junior, throwing down the two-handed jam. GET up 9. Late in the half, Brady Pfluger gets the steal. The other end, the floor, he finishes off the glass. Timberwolves up 2. Closing seconds of the half, GET's Jack Beadle. The rebound, kicks it out to Sealing, the senior, the buzzer beater. GET leads 30-27. Early second half now. Quick passing sets up Brian Thornton down low. He lays it in for 2. Timberwolves trail by 1. Toma would take the back and forth battle 61-58. That'll do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Breaking overnight, a hero's welcome. That is what Argentina's football team came home to. They were greeted with celebrations at Buenos Aires International Airport, where they touched down on Tuesday. The 2022 World Cup champions were led off the plane by, of course, the star Lionel Messi, seen hoisting the trophy. Cheers from the crowds. That was before they boarded their bus, which took them through city streets flooded with excited fans. I'd love to see that victory parade. As the end of Title 42 is expected to end tomorrow, U.S. cities are now calling for assistance. Nonprofits along the border in Mexico say there are thousands waiting to cross into the United States and hundreds already in El Paso streets. Denver, Colorado has now declared a state of emergency as migrants arrive in the city. And New York City estimates it will need at least $3 billion in federal support to help with its migrant crisis. As of now, the White House faces criticism about its preparedness and is receiving calls to extend Title 42. A Los Angeles jury has found former movie producer Harvey Weinstein guilty on 3 of the 7 counts in his second sexual assault trial. Weinstein faces up to 18 years in prison, and he still has more than 20 years left on his sentence after a rape and sexual assault conviction in New York a couple years ago. He is appealing that decision. 2 of the nation's largest pharmacy chains are now limiting purchases of ibuprofen and acetaminophen for children because of short supply and high demand. The move comes amid nationwide outbreaks of flu and other respiratory illnesses like RSV. So CVS is limiting shoppers to 2 products each. Walgreens is limiting online orders to 6 over-the-counter pain and fever relief products for children. Researchers say heart failure is at its highest during December and January. Every year during the Christmas and New Year holiday season, millions of Americans suddenly change their daily habits and patterns, such as exercise, eating, and drinking. These large-scale behavioral changes may affect cardiac mortality. Some patients might delay seeking necessary medical treatment until after the holidays. Others who are traveling might take longer than usual to seek medical help. Staff at Mayo Clinic Health System are stepping into the future. On Monday, they walked through the new La Crosse Hospital virtually. The staff toured patient, labor, and delivery rooms. Mayo Clinic has used virtual technology before, but not to this degree. Unlike traditional hospital construction planning, nurses are now able to get hands-on experience early on.
I think the hidden piece behind all of this is that it gets a lot more people engaged in the project that wouldn't otherwise be engaged, and it starts to get them to look at the floor plans and the building and the spaces they're going to work in.
End of 2024. Holiday plans will put a lot more families behind the wheel during our next big blast of winter. Kirsten Mitchell shares some tips on safe travel from the roads to the runways as people start their holiday travels.
Leave sooner rather than later. That's the advice to avoid this mess that's only expected to get worse.
If you can change your travel plans to accommodate, you should do so.
Whiteout conditions are possible across the upper Midwest later this week. Wind chills are expected to drop to 30 below by Thursday, meaning having extra gear in an emergency car kit is critical.
It's got snacks in it along with extra clothing.
Tom Ritchie is preparing to drive to see family.
We're going to be driving. We're staying local. The whole family's in town.
If you're flying, the busiest times at MSP Airport are expected to be the mornings of the 22nd and the 26th.
But that could all change with bad weather, and a simple delay or two could easily have a ripple effect. And the airport could go from being relatively calm to being jam-packed with travelers in a matter of hours.
I don't mind the snow. It's the cold that I hope is, bearable. You had a big day, didn't you?
Sheila just flew from Baltimore to spend the holidays in Minnesota with family.
My sister's coming from Vermont, so she might have to change her flight later this week, and the man sitting next to us on the plane was worried about his travel later this week, so I think it's definitely on people's minds.
Her advice?
Be patient and have low expectations, and bring lollipops.
Switching things back to Wisconsin, the Wisconsin woman convicted of driving drunk and causing a fatal head-on crash is headed to prison. On October 3rd of last year, 42-year-old Carrie Herbst was driving the wrong way on I-94 in Warrens when she collided head-on with one car, causing a chain reaction crash with two other vehicles. A 29-year-old man was killed and 2 people were seriously injured. According to investigators, there were open containers of alcohol in Herbst's car, and her blood alcohol was more than twice the legal limit. A judge sentenced Herbst to 8 years and another 10 on extended provision. Homicide is now the leading cause of death for children in the United States. A new study shows from 2019 to 2020, the number of children killed in a homicide rose nearly 28%, and that the most common weapon used was a firearm. Between 2018 and 2020, overall homicide rates increased the most for boys, rising 16%. Across all demographics, black boys were killed more than any other group. Between 1999 and 2020, there was a decline in homicides among girls. Wisconsin senators are joining a bipartisan effort to defend one of Wisconsin's defining products. An FDA proposal would define a fruit product as healthy only if there are 0 grams of added sugars. Republican Ron Johnson and Democrat Tammy Baldwin say that definition would negatively impact cranberry products, which does have sugar added to make the taste more palatable. The senators say dried cranberries are still nutrient dense enough to be granted an exception to the 0 grams rule, and that the FDA shouldn't make them seem less healthy than similar products. Sitting at the Yerkes Observatory in Williams Bay, Wisconsin, a 3,000-pound glass tree now claims the title of the world's tallest. This one took 9 days to build, and the builder, Jason Mack, says the glass sculpture only grew thanks to the community. Mack says they used donated glass, things like wine bottles and pickle jars. It's a work of art that's now ringing in the holidays, because nothing will shatter the spirits of these people, no matter how cold it is.
We've had everyone from a 4-year-old to a 90-year-old add liquid glass to the tree.
This is really a great opportunity too for people in the community to come out and see something unusual, see a world record be broken.
over the weekend visiting my dad. To take the tree down, the artist will put on some special gloves and grab chunks of the glass from the tree. Then they'll bring it back to their studio where they will turn that glass into ornaments.
Well, we had some of that snow here move through yesterday evening and also into the overnight hours, but it does look like everything has cleared out, and now we just have a few clouds here left over here for us this morning. Check out these temperatures, though, behind me. We are into the single digits and teens all across the Cooley region this morning, and we're only going to be around the teens here pretty much throughout the day today. That's pretty much the warmest that will be. Under partly cloudy skies, a west-northwest wind, pretty light at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, for tonight, we dropped down to -5 degrees, still mostly cloudy there. Northwest winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour for you. So for the drivecast, things are looking snowy as far as the roads go. But again, the falling snow here has pretty much ended. Partly cloudy sky for the lunch hour, and it looks like skies will remain that way well into your evening commute as well. So calm weather conditions to work with today, but there are some changes on the way, and we'll get to that coming up next in the full weather forecast. Ken?
Forward to it. Thanks, Derek. It is now 6:38 a.m. Coming up after the break, a price that's definitely out of this world. What an original movie prop from E.T. sold for at auction. That story and more coming up next in our Buzz Report.
Well, it sure is a very cold start here to the day so far in La Crosse. 8 degrees downtown, or 8 degrees, I should say, at the airport. 10 degrees downtown, though. We do have a visibility at around 10 miles, though, so that's good for the morning commute. Meanwhile, to the north in Eau Claire, partly cloudy skies, 7 degrees here with a feel-like temperature value of -8. That's because we're looking at 11-mile-per-hour winds coming out of the west here for us this morning. Current conditions across the rest of the Cooley region look like this, with current temperature readings well into the single digits in teens. Definitely going to need to bundle up out there. We had some snowy weather move through during the evening yesterday, and it did continue into the overnight hours, and that was really associated with this low pressure system here, which is now passing towards the east of us. And you can see we did have a cold front associated with that system here as well, packing some snowy weather just out ahead of it. That was that same snow that moved through yesterday. Now we're just looking at some colder air filtering in behind that storm system now as we speak, which is going to continue to bring us temperatures well into the single digits, and skies just looking mainly sunny, really, especially by the time we reach the late afternoon hours. Today's high temperatures well into the single digits and teens pretty much all day long today, again behind that cold front, and that system is going to continue to push its way towards the east. Hey, I got to tell you though, today enjoy it while it lasts, because we're going to be looking at mostly sunny and overall quiet weather conditions out ahead of this next storm system, which is expected to bring us some very snowy weather as we head into tomorrow night, and it may even linger as we head into early on Thursday morning. There you can see where all those bluish shades here popping up on the model showing all that snowy weather. And then behind it, it looks like everything should begin to clear out around the 6 p.m. hour or so, just dragging in some pretty cold air masses in its wake. We'll get to that here in just a bit. Lots of winter weather alerts here to share with you this morning. Winter storm watches, as you can see, for the majority of the upper Midwest, including portions of the Central Plains. This does include us here in the Cooley region. In fact, just about everybody here in the News 8 Now viewing area under this winter storm watch. That means that blowing snow, blizzard weather conditions also a possibility, gusty winds, and this is going to cause some travel impacts here for you as well. Now, speaking of the cold, check out this Arctic air mass that continues to funnel its way south, especially behind this next system moving in, and that's why our temperatures are going to continue to dive. In fact, we are looking at temperatures reaching the single digits for our highs for Friday and Saturday, and then we start to warm up, especially by the time we reach Tuesday with a high of 23, warming up well into the 30s as we head into midweek next week on Wednesday. So we have those alert days in effect here for you for Wednesday and Thursday, so keep it here to News 8. We'll keep you updated on this developing weather situation. And then behind it, again, very cold and chilly, dangerous wind chills for Friday and Saturday. Christmas Day looks pretty cold as well with a high of 10, mostly cloudy skies there.
In our Buzz Report this morning, a scary moment for actor Robert De Niro after a woman broke into his New York City home early Monday morning. Police say the woman was spotted entering De Niro's Upper East Side townhome, where she began bagging up presents under his Christmas tree. De Niro was home at the time and came downstairs to hear the commotion, but did not interact with the woman, who was on a different floor. Police say they arrested her as they saw her down the street trying to break into other buildings. After appealing the defamation lawsuit that she lost earlier this month, Amber Heard has ultimately decided to settle her legal drama with ex-husband Johnny Depp. Depp had sued Heard for defamation after she wrote a 2018 op-ed in the Washington Post. Heard said in her statement Monday her decision to settle is not an act of concession. She also said that even if her appeal is successful, the best outcome would be a retrial, and she simply cannot go through that for a third time. Someone just paid a lot of money to make the song lyrics "E.T. Come Visit Me" come true. The animatronic alien in Steven Spielberg's 1982 sci-fi classic E.T. the Extraterrestrial sold for $2.56 million. The filming model was created by special effects master Carlo Rambaldi in 1981, long before the creation of CGI. With facial expressions and movement, it was considered an engineering masterpiece at the time. It is now 6:46. Let's head to break with today's Look Who's 8, Derek.
That's right, Ken. We got a special one here today. We'd like to wish a happy 8th birthday to Temperance. Now, Temperance loves arts and crafts, hockey, and animals.
Happy birthday to Temperance. Hey, if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and you want to look for the Submit Pictures button under the Home tab on our website.
All right, stay with us. We have everything you need to know today in 5 minutes or less. Your morning news now is coming up next. Welcome back, everybody. Time for your morning news now. The Packers on Monday Night Football last night beating the LA Rams led by Baker Mayfield. It was a game the Packers were expected to win. A.J. Dillon was a force in the victory. Not one, but 2 rushing touchdowns on the night. Quadzilla in full force. Just imagine trying to tackle him in frigid Green Bay temperatures. 24-12 is your final. Packers, of course, still need to win out and get some help if they want to make the playoffs in a few weeks. On the news front, out of rural Vernon County, an Amish home was destroyed by a fire last night. An Amish elder asked us not to shoot video of the fire, but in this video of firefighters working, you can see the heavy smoke. The fire chief says winter weather caused several problems. It took longer than normal to reach the home on Runge Lane because of slick roads, and once they arrived, 3 trucks got stuck and couldn't get close enough to the house, which was then fully covered with fire.
And we had to reach out to a neighboring community and haul water from their hydrants. That was the closest ones, and that's still 10 miles or something away.
Quite the ordeal. Now, no one was injured, but the home burned to the ground. The chief believes the fire was started by a kerosene lamp. He's reminding everyone that candles, wood stoves, and overloaded electrical outlets are responsible for many house fires this time of year. As we expect more snowfall in the Coulee region, one local group is asking community members to lend a helping hand. La Crosse's Committee for Citizens with Disabilities says a sidewalk or curb that's not shoveled can be a danger to people who are disabled. Members of the committee say if you have a neighbor with disabilities, offer to shovel their snow for them. They are also working with city officials to create a list of volunteers who can help shovel snow for people who are unable to.
If you know someone that is disabled and can't get out there or needs to travel through where you're at, help them out.
If a sidewalk is not shoveled, people can file a complaint on the city's website. And then the first citation for a person who didn't shovel could cost you more than $180. 2 of the nation's largest pharmacy chains are now limiting purchases of ibuprofen and acetaminophen for children because of short supply and high demand. The move comes amid nationwide outbreaks of flu and other respiratory illnesses like RSV. So CVS is limiting shoppers to 2 products each. Walgreens, meanwhile, limiting online orders to 6 of that over-the-counter pain and fever relief products. Staff at Mayo Clinic Health System are stepping into the future. On Monday, they walked through the new La Crosse Hospital virtually. The staff toured patient, labor, and delivery rooms. Now, Mayo Clinic has used virtual technology before, but not to this degree. And unlike traditional hospital construction planning, nurses are now able to get hands-on experience early on.
I think the hidden piece behind all of this is that it gets a lot more people engaged on the project that wouldn't otherwise be engaged, and it starts to get them to look at the floor plans and the building and the spaces they're going to work in.
By the end of 2024. Caledonia Street is finally a historic district. Between the 1880s and 1960s, Caledonia Street was called Old Town North. It was a commercial hub for the city's north side and home to a theater called the Riviera. City planning officials say historic designations bring in more patrons for businesses, and downtown La Crosse is a great example. The man who helped Caledonia Street get its new official title says it's time for Old Town North to get the recognition it deserves.
It's just important to know and have that designation and that recognition on the north side. They deserve it. It means, and that little commercial node deserves having that recognition and that national recognition of being a historic district.
Ackland says this process has been years in the making. 2 families will have a Merry Christmas thanks to some Holman community members. This is the first year the Holman Community Center and the Rotary Club set up a giving tree in the lobby. Visitors took tags off the tree and fulfilled some Christmas wishes. Rotary Club members helped wrap all those gifts, and organizers say the drive was very popular.
It was really well received by the community. People came in multiple times. They'd get a tag, get the present, get another tag. Or if we've had people say too, if you have tags left at the end, please let me know and I can financially contribute to this.
And members of the community even donated 3 children's bikes. You see them there. All those gifts are going to families in La Crosse County.
All right, and as we head out the door this morning, keep in mind today, looking good. I know it's cold out there, but at least we got a few bits of sunshine to work with today. Looking at some snow potential, especially Wednesday night into early Thursday, where you see we have those alert days in effect there. We could be talking snowfall accumulations, gusty winds, very dangerous wind chills. And speaking of those wind chills, more than likely Friday and Saturday, where you see the chilly icons there. Christmas Day, mostly cloudy and a high of 10 degrees, Ken.
Yeah, not looking really good. And in terms of the snow accumulation on those alert days, how much could our region be looking at?
Right now, it looks like the early indications between 4 to 6 inches, but we'll detail those things out as we head into tomorrow, especially.
Of course, the model's got to develop.
Yeah, it gets a little bit tricky a couple days out, but yeah.
Of course. And at the same time, we could be Michigan. We could be the Dakotas. We're kind of in the middle right now of those extreme weather totals. I think the state of Michigan has been setting quite a number of records with that lake effect.
Yeah, it's insane. Buffalo too.
Yeah. Hey, you would know. I'm sure you watched that entire game with the Dolphins.
That was
of course.
insane. Yeah.
I don't know how people live in Buffalo.
I don't know. I could never do it.
No.
That game, that guy had his shirt off, Ken.
I know.
In the Buffalo game.
And
how do you do that?
You'll see guys at Packer games too doing the exact same thing, and I'm not one of those people.
Well,
I'd be wrapping in 3 sweatshirts.
Couldn't do it. I'm so glad that Packer game is in Miami.
Yes, absolutely. I think
Which, by the way, we're winning. I'm just saying.
Okay, we'll get to that later in the week. We got something special cooked up for that, so just you wait. All right, thank you, Derek. And don't forget to keep up with the news of the day on news8000.com. We'll see you tomorrow.